What is up, guys? So today, as you guys could tell by the title of the video, today we're going to be talking about swim baits. Now recently, Mike Gilbert of Working Class Zero, he's been posting up a lot of good swim bait knowledge and topics. What do you want? Huh? What do you want? Now he's been posting up a lot of good content lately with the swim baits, and it's got me thinking like, you know what, I haven't done anything that's really been like swim bait talking and related. So today we're going to be talking about pretty much when I like to pick a soft bait over a hard bait in certain situations that I think a soft bait or a hard bait will get bit a lot better. So let's get right into it. So what I'm about to tell you guys is not like written in stone. It's not the most correct way to fish it. This is just what I've noticed when out fishing by myself, or just whenever I'm fishing. I have normally a soft bait or a hard bait on the deck. Sometimes, you know, certain situations I feel like the soft bait is good for this time with this kind of weather pattern or water clarity, anything like that, or I'll pick up a hard bait. And so I'm going to be kind of going through like the season. So right now we're in the middle of summer, so I'm going to talk about summertime bass fishing with swim baits right now. So when it comes to summertime bass fishing, a whole lot of people know that it's hot outside, the water's hot. These fish's metabolism is like through the roof, so they have to constantly keep feeding to keep themselves, you know, filled with nutrients and all that kind of stuff. So this time of year, in previous years, I haven't really caught really giant quality size fish. They fish really anywhere from 4 to 7 pounders. The 7 pounders, they have like giant heads with skinny bodies where they should be 8s or 9s. But the 4, 5, and 6 pounders, they're normally, you know, pretty thick and fat and stuff. Now, summertime, I've thrown soft baits and I've thrown hard baits. Summertime for me pretty much just means shallow water, fishing pretty fast, covered water to see where the fish are. Now there's a couple, so on my lakes that I fish, so let's just say I'm on Canyon Lake. Canyon Lake has rock and it has grass. Normally during summertime, I like to fish a lot of rock. I just feel like I feel like the fish are up in the rock, not necessarily trying to warm themselves or anything like that. I just think that they just like rocks a lot at Canyon Lake especially. But then I would switch it over to like Saguaro Lake. Saguaro has a lot more grass than Canyon in most parts. So like when it comes to Saguaro and summertime fishing, I'll normally start with rocks, but then I'll switch out in the middle of the day and fish grass. So jumping into it, at Canyon Lake, I pretty much like to fish hard baits this time of year. Last year I was throwing a lot of the hard baits pretty shallow and I was catching a lot of fish. One of the baits that I was throwing in summertime was one of my favorite baits, the 9-inch HPH. Now this bait absolutely gets bit in the summertime. It's got a really big shad profile, but it's not too big. It's still 9 inches. Even the 9-inch version, it's kind of small, honestly, to me. But I just like the way this bait flashes. It moves quickly, it covers water really fast, and it gets fish to react and commit to it. Since this thing's starting through the water really well, and those fish, they're already fired up since the water's so warm, they have all this energy to spend. When they see something like that, they're not going to hesitate to eat it. So normally during summertime, I like to fish faster baits. So I fish like the HPH or the Clash, or something super erratic, something that I can work really quickly. And a lot of times I just start getting bites, you know, off that kind of stuff. So normally during the summertime, I'm throwing a hard bait, but it's a hard bait that I can work relatively fast. So normally summertime, I'm not really throwing like say the Hinkel trout. I've thrown it in summer and I've gotten bit on it in summer, but the Hinkel really isn't that bait I would really be picking up in summertime. I don't think that the fish are keying in on really big stuff. So normally I will keep this at home during the summertime months. In 2015, when I first got my first Hinkel, that's all I threw was a Hinkel. I threw it summer, fall, winter, and spring, and the whole so on and so forth. Just because that was like the bait that I was obsessed with and loved with, and I didn't really have any other bait. So the Hinkel was everything, and it would get bites, but like the fish were, again, they were on that smaller side. They were like from the 4 to 7 pounders. So a lot of those smaller fish would hit it from the sides, and it hit it all over the place, really just trying to kill it out of reaction and like never seen it before. They weren't really trying to eat it, I feel like. So I would miss a lot of those fish. And so stepping down to like a smaller bait, I was able to connect with a lot more fish, especially last year. So I think summertime, you want to downsize you don't have to. You can keep throwing your mother or your Hinkel, but I think you'll get better bites on a smaller bait that you can work like a lot faster. So that's it for like the hard baits. When it comes to soft baits, as of recently, of course, I like the battle shad. Of course, this is the working class zero battle shad, 7.5 inches long, and what I like about this is that it's weedless. Now the great thing about having like a weedless small bait like this that has a shad profile, again, it's on that smaller size, which the fish aren't so, kind of hesitant on actually eating it instead of just like biting it. So with this bait, I can fish it in grass. So if I'm fishing rock with like the hard bait and stuff like that, and I come across like a flat that has a bunch of grass on it, I can just pick this up easily and throw it in there. Now, since the bait is weedless, I'm able just to rip it through the grass. And soft baits did me better at sword just because it had more grass, and I was on a decent soft bait bite with it. Now, throwing it into the grass, it's just working it and then just ripping it out. And like a lot of times the bites that I get is when I rip it out, start reeling, and then get bit again. So again, when it comes to summertime fishing, I'm probably going 60-40, 60 being the hard baits, 40 being the soft baits. But again, I mean, you can easily throw hard baits 100%. You can throw like a triple trout or the Clash or the HPH over the grass. I just like getting into the grass because the grass will come up. You'll see on your graph that the grass will come up probably, anywhere from 5 feet all the way up to 10 feet. So I feel like some of those bigger fish, they're really tucked up under there, almost at the bottom. And sometimes if like you'll work a bait really, really quickly over the grass, you might not even see it. So I like just getting into it, making a lot of commotion with the soft bait, and then getting the bites from that. Now, moving on to the next season that's coming up, it's going to be fall. Fall fishing is probably one of my most fun times to fish. And at that point, it goes 50-50 on the hard bait and on the soft bait. When it comes to fall fishing, you have just a lot of those fish that were in summertime that they're still up shallow, the water's cooling down, and they just want to feed before winter comes. So it's a really good opportunity to catch a lot of nice quality sized fish and have a fun way of doing it. Now when it comes to fall fishing, I kind of look at it as like the same. Fall, I'm fishing it 50-50, hard bait or soft bait. Even in fall, I will even start to pick up some of the bigger stuff to get some of those bigger fish, because a lot of the times when it comes to fall and the water temperature is dropping, I've seen a lot of those bigger grade fish, like 7 to like 10 pounders, move up shallow. And that's when like a bigger bait like this will draw them out, and those fish are actually looking to eat it, not just like to react to it and to hit it. They're actually looking to eat it. So a lot of times I will pick up like the Hinkel or like the mother to throw in fall, just to get hopefully one of those bigger shallow water big bites. But still, you can't go also wrong with a smaller bait like the HPH or the Clash. So again, it's all over the place during fall. It kind of just depends on how I'm looking at what they're feeding on, if it's bluegill, if it's shad, if they are reacting or committing to a big bait like this. If not, downsize to something a little bit smaller. And yeah, I mean, so it just kind of comes down to pretty much the water conditions that you feel like are most suitable for fishing either like a bigger Goliath bait, a smaller Goliath bait, or like a little bit different style of bait. Like last fall, we were wrecking house with this guy here. Now this is just the Matt Lures. It's a Magnum hardgill. It's a really good looking bait, segmented bait, so it moves really, really well in the water. So like last fall, we had been noticing a lot of bluegill like up shallow into the rocks. And so all we were doing was we were finding sunny, shallow rocks in that we'd see like bluegill popping or anything like that. It had to be like a certain style of bank. It had like a certain style of like steepness and like rocks, and we'd throw pretty much this bait literally up against the rocks and get a few cranks in, and there were fish coming out and just hammering the thing. But that was just kind of paying attention to what the fish were feeding on. And that time of year, it was mostly bluegill. So I wasn't throwing the Hinkel or anything like that. I was throwing bluegill style baits, or baits that were on the smaller side, up shallow, and we were whacking fish left and right. I don't have a mag to show you guys, but the mag was also getting a lot of bites a few falls ago. The mag was getting a lot of bites from quality grade fish, anywhere from 6 to 8 pounds, and they were just chewing it. So it kind of went back and forth. If I felt like the fish kind of pulled off in the shallows and they were sitting, more off in deeper rock, then I'd throw out like the mag to get them. So you kind of have to experiment. So if one day you catch them up shallow, you go out like the next week or so, and you're fishing shallow, you're not seeing anything, that's when you would want to pick up like a soft bait to throw down in deeper rock to see if the bluegill had pulled off or if the bass had pulled off. And so just doing like those quick switch ups of like hard baits and soft baits can definitely make or break you out there. Now going into wintertime for me, everybody thinks it's slow, it's soft baits, it's on the bottom, it's crawling, this and that. For me, over the years, I've just been kind of personally thinking like, hey, like that's like a good way to catch fish for sure. But at the same time, you have to think of it like, well, trout are used to cold water, right? And trout, they're raised, they're born, they move pretty quickly through the water. Like you can do the whole, slow roll thing like it's a dying trout. But in my thinking on it is like, well, if I give it some speed, if I give it like, it looks more like a livelier trout, and maybe if the fish are more aggressive, it'll hit it. So what I'll do is, when it comes to wintertime, I'm probably going 60-40, 60 being soft baits, 40% being hard baits. Now, last winter, I was pretty much fishing the mag and the battle shad for most of the part, slow rolling it on the bottom, or even picking it up, working it, mid-water column. And like, last winter, it was pretty tough. I'm not even gonna lie. I think I caught like four or five fish total. One of them was a really nice one. It was a 9 pounder, and it was on a hard bait though. So it kind of goes back to situational in places that I've fished. So when I'm fishing like a point or anything like that, I'm gonna be throwing like a soft bait in wintertime. Now if I'm fishing like docks, like a marina or anything like that, a lot of times a lot of people will go in there with the soft baits. It's harder to get like the hard baits into like the zones that you really need to get like your bait into, but I feel like after a while of this fishing the soft bait, they won't be kind of like, hesitant to come way out from where they are to chase down a glide bait. And luckily enough, I was able to catch a 9 pounder and a 6 pounder on the Hinkel trout. It was one of the coolest bites I've ever had from a big fish. Came out and just freaking hammered it right in front of my feet. It was so sick. And the 6 pounder did the same exact thing. And like before, I'd seen like two dudes go in there throwing soft baits. I think it was a battle shad or something like that. They were skipping the docks, nothing. I go in there with the Hinkel, and I was able to catch 2 fish out of it. So it kind of just goes to show like, yes, soft baits are normally the way to go when it comes to wintertime, but picking up a hard bait, especially I like to go with a bigger hard bait, so like the mother or the Hinkel, something that does imitate a trout. It has a bigger profile. It works a little bit slower as well. I feel like those baits can get bit in the middle of winter. I don't care if the water is 55 degrees. I think those baits can also get bit, but it just comes down to positioning and like just how a certain situation sets up to be. And then to round it all off, we're going to be talking about spring. Springtime is probably not my strongest season, honestly. It's a good season to fish, but like I'm way better in the pre-spawn than like the spawn. The only way that I try to catch fish is I like to just burn a bank with a hard bait, work it really fast, and just see if I can find a fish that comes out and eats it. It's all based off reaction at that point. Those fish are not looking to feed most of the time if they're up shallow. So a lot of dudes, they'll fire a soft bait out to deeper water to try and pick off those bigger females that are looking to feed. You kind of want to look for deeper water if you're looking for the bigger fish, so a soft bait is going to come in handy. What I've been trying to do in the recent years is actually sink out glide baits. Now it's kind of sketch, but you kind of have to think outside the box on this. They always see soft baits, which most soft baits do the same thing, have a tail wag, the head might move a little bit. But if you sink out like a glide bait out to 20 feet and it's doing all of this jazz where they normally don't see that, that might entice those bigger fish to eat it. But if those same fish saw the bait way up here, they might not even look at it. But once it's down there, it's kind of something new to them. It's like, well, normally we see that action up here, but now we're seeing it down here, so this might be real, and then they try to eat it. that's kind of my own thinking on it. It could be completely different, but that's how I kind of look at it nowadays. So when it comes to springtime, it's again probably 50-50 on hard baits and soft baits. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully I'm going to be doing a lot more of these swim bait talks here in the near future. Hopefully get some guest speakers even on here like Manny Chi or even maybe Mike Gilbert himself. So stay tuned for those videos. Myself, I have actually finished the boat. I'm going to be doing a video for that hopefully pretty soon so you guys can see the new boat and the new rig. So thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, go out there and chase your dreams.